Thomas Merton tells us you do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it's all going. What you need to do is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. I'm recording tonight in the night using the glow of the screen to illuminate me because this is the eve of a very important feast day. We do celebrate eves of holidays, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and tonight is the eve of an important feast day that we'll learn about in today's God Talk. So thanks for joining me, whether you happened here by accident, I hope you stay, or whether this is part of your regular Sunday ritual and part of your spiritual path. Asking deities to help us or provide for us or remove obstacles from our lives has been part of all the religions that I've ever studied, including those long before Judaism and Christianity. So, welcome to the Calm and the Chaos Interfaith Center, where sometimes we align ourselves with an unseen element or two to draw us closer to and to tap into the life that is beyond us, the spiritual realm. Now, for those of us who follow a monotheistic path, this means the one and only God, however you define the term God. This includes the religions of Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Zoroastrianism, and many others that believe in only one God who is the creator, the manager, and the sustainer of life on earth. When people from those religions turn to God, the turning, the words, the intentions of the heart are often called prayer. But not everyone in our world follows such a path of praying only to God. Some people pray to deceased ancestors, and some pray to saints. Today, I am drawn to tell you about a woman who was an ordinary human being like you and me, but posthumously became a saint. May we take inspiration from her story to know that each of us, as ordinary human beings, have untapped abilities and a deep well of spiritual strength that can carry us through. I hope you will enjoy meeting her, as today, February 1st, is her feast day. Let's take a little journey sideways here about feast days. What does it mean for a saint to have a feast day? It means that a certain date on the 365-day-a-year calendar has been assigned by the Catholic Church as a day of remembrance and celebration of a particular saint. Now, granted, there are more than 365 recognized saints, so some dates have to double up. The date may have been the date of a person's death, or it may have another significance in the life of the Catholic Church to have been chosen for that person's feast day. We're all familiar with the feast day of Jesus of Nazareth, December 25. We just call it Christ's Mass Day or Christmas. Christmas. Back to our story. Today is the feast day of Saint Bridget, one of Ireland's patron saints. February 1st is the date of her death in the year 525. May her story inspire you to learn more about her or give you pause to share a quote or an awareness that she offers us. Sometimes known as St. Bridget of Kildare, she was born around 450, and although she had offers of marriage, she became a nun. During her lifetime, she fearlessly championed many causes, one of which is called the miracle of the cloak. Now, granted, some of what we think we know about Bridget is legend, and this may very well be true, but the lesson inside the story is one for us to remember. Bridget had approached the King of Leinster, to ask for land where she planned to build a monastery. The king was stingy and said no. So Bridget replied, "Give me as much land as I can cover with my cloak." The king, of course, laughed, but when his servants removed the cloak from Bridget's shoulders and each took hold of a corner to open it fully, it began to stretch and stretch and grow until it covered several acres of land. Once the king ordered the helpers to stop pulling, Bridget built her monastery. By the way, the king converted to Christianity because of her. As I speak today, I cannot help but feel that Bridget's life is urging us to see her as a model, a person who was not only a woman of prayer, but a woman who followed the prayer with action. She was a champion of women in a time when we usually don't think of women as religious leaders, a time when the Catholic Church was disregarding women's skills and accomplishments to further build a patriarchy. But there she was, Bridget of Kildare. Looking past the legends that surround her, we do know she established monasteries for both men and women, notably the Double Monastery in Kildare. She worked to alleviate suffering among the poorest people in her community, and she helped to spread Christianity. She was devoted to her community and shared her love through leading others to understand charity in their town. She was a luminous model for a monastic life for women. Her many accomplishments show us what can be done when we maintain an eye on the goal. She has become a popular saint with many groups of people holding her in esteem. Saint Bridget is known as the patron saint of healers, blacksmiths, dairy workers, livestock, newborns, midwives, artists, and poets. I'll share two more legends with you, and then I hope you watch the video on creating a Bridget's cross. I've made my own and have it hanging in my kitchen. Here's the legend of the power of Bridget's blood. This may indicate how miraculous her presence was on earth. Bridget was experiencing a headache and had to travel out of her town for a physician's help. On her journey, she met two young sisters, neither of whom could speak. She and the two girls traveled together for a while when something in the nearby brush startled her horse. Bridget fell off, hitting her head on a rock. When she placed a bit of her blood on each of the girls, their muteness vanished. The last bit I'll share with you about Bridget is one for the books today. I wouldn't use the phrase pro choice, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. She was most definitely non judgmental and believed in saving a woman's dignity and life. She ministered to a nun who had crossed the line on her chastity vow and had become pregnant. When Bridget learned of this, she used her strong will and prayer, and what I have learned is called Shaktipat. That's a Sanskrit word meaning healing by transmitting spiritual power to another person. And she caused the womb of that woman, of that nun, to absorb the fetus. The nun was no longer pregnant, and Bridget was acknowledged as having returned the nun to her faith. I ask you to please research the group that helps pregnant people find doctors and the funds to afford abortions. They are called the Brigid Alliance. How relevant do you think this woman's message is today? With her devotion to others, using not only her intelligence, but also her spiritual presence to hold others up, to move the world forward with justice, love, and compassion. If you are a person who's becoming weary in the fight of Christian nationalism, look back and call on the wisdom of some of the people who fought the fights of their day, those who made changes that are worth telling 1,500 years later, and those small interactions that no one knows about except the two people involved. We are the hands, the feet, and the brains of change. May we draw strength from knowing St. Bridget of Kildare. May we be reminded of the depth of human suffering that can be countered with an even deeper sense of love. And may we remember that whatever our faith path or absence of one, a church is just stones, cement, and wood. We are the activists, the doers, the dreamers, the peacekeepers, the carriers of the light. Blessings on all.